Your descent into madness does not begin with a dramatic explosion. It begins with the smell and the noise. You are not flying in a sleek, glowing cruiser. You are sealed inside a metal tube. It is no larger than a small school bus. The engine's cut off. You enter the endless coasting phase. From that second on, the silence of the universe is blocked out. You hear the deafening, mechanical roar of the life support systems. The fans, the pumps, the recyclers. They never stop. If they stop, you die in minutes. So you listen to a high-pitched industrial drone every second of every day for 7 months. Then there is the smell. You cannot open a window. The air is heavily filtered, but it carries a permanent, inescapable stench. You smell stale sweat, chemical antiseptic, and the metallic tang of machinery. There is no shower. You wipe your skin with moistened pads. Within 3 weeks, the odor of your crewmates becomes a psychological trigger. We know exactly what this claustrophobia does to a human brain. We have already tried to simulate it. In 2010, inside a warehouse in Moscow, researchers initiated the Mars 500 project. 6 highly trained men were locked inside a windowless metal module. The test lasted 520 days to mimic a round trip. There was no danger of a vacuum breach. There was no zero gravity. There was no cosmic radiation, just pure confinement. By the middle of the experiment, their biological clock shattered. They developed severe insomnia. They spiraled into depression. They stopped speaking to each other. They hid in their tiny bunks and stared blankly at the walls. And they were completely safe on Earth. They knew they could walk out if things got too bad. You will not have a door. You will be floating in a tin can millions of miles from the nearest hospital. The walls will feel like they are shrinking by an inch every day. Your sense of time will also betray you. On Earth, the sun rises and sets. Your biology is anchored to a 24-hour rhythm. In deep space, there is no morning. There is no evening. There is just an eternal, unbroken midnight outside the glass. The artificial lights inside the ship try to mimic a day's cycle. But your body knows it is a lie. Your pineal gland stops producing melatonin normally. You will lie strapped to a wall in your sleeping bag. You will listen to the drone of the life support fans. You will try to force your eyes shut, but your brain will refuse to power down. Astronauts on the International Space Station take heavy sleeping pills just to get a few hours of rest. But they know they can come home in a few months. You are drifting further away every second. Exhaustion will poison your blood. Sleep deprivation causes acute psychosis. After 3 weeks of poor sleep, you will start hearing whispers in the noise of the air filters. You will see shadows darting just outside your peripheral vision. But isolation is only the first psychological blade. The real horror begins when your own body turns against your mind. Microgravity is not a fun, floating playground. It is an active biological trauma. There is no gravity to pull your blood downward. Nearly 2 liters of fluid immediately rush into your chest and your head. Your face swells up into a puffy, red mask. Your legs wither into thin sticks. But the true nightmare happens inside your skull. That upward rush of fluid increases your intracranial pressure. It pushes against the back of your eyes. NASA doctors discovered this. They named it spaceflight-associated neuroocular syndrome. The fluid literally flattens your eyeballs. It swells your optic nerves. You will start to get blurry vision. You will see blind spots. You are slowly going blind in the dark. There is absolutely no surgery or medicine on board that can fix it. It goes much deeper than your eyes. Your brain actually changes its physical shape in the void. In 2019, neurologists scanned the brains of returning astronauts. They found something terrifying. There is no gravity to hold your brain in place. It literally floats upward inside your skull. It squishes against the top of your cranium. The cavities in your brain filled with cerebrospinal fluid expand dramatically. Your gray matter is compressed. This physical deformation directly impacts your frontal lobe. This is the part of your brain responsible for regulating emotions. It controls risk assessment and impulse control. You are not just feeling stressed. The organic hardware of your mind is being physically crushed. The absence of gravity is rewiring you. You will become irritable. You will become paranoid. You will be incapable of processing complex emotions just when you need your sanity the most. Then comes the invisible executioner, the radiation. On Earth, Our planet's magnetic field protects us. It deflects the worst of the sun's fury. It shields us from the deadly debris of exploded stars. The moment you leave low Earth orbit, you are stripped naked. You plunge into a shooting gallery of galactic cosmic rays. These are not like medical X-rays. These are heavy, high-energy ions. They are atoms of iron traveling at nearly the speed of light. They will punch right through the hull of your ship. They will punch right through your skull. They will rip into your brain tissue. When one of these particles hits a brain cell, it acts like a microscopic bullet. It physically snaps the double helix of your DNA. We already know exactly what this does to a living mind. In 2015, radiation oncologist Charles Lamolli at the University of California conducted a study. He exposed mice to the exact type of cosmic rays you will experience on the way to Mars. The results were catastrophic. The radiation literally eroded the dendrites in their brains. The intricate, branching connections between neurons burned away. The mice lost their memory. They lost their spatial awareness. But the most horrifying finding was the destruction of a process called fear extinction. Normally, when a threat passes, your brain calms you down. It turns off the fear. The irradiated mice lost this ability entirely. If they got scared, they stayed scared. Forever. Those cosmic rays will shred your neural pathways over months of travel. You will slip into a state of permanent, inescapable anxiety. You will have a nonstop panic attack. Your brain will simply lack the chemical ability to turn it off. As your brain rots and your eyes fail, you will seek comfort in the window. You will look for home. But you will experience a psychological break that no human being has ever faced. Psychiatrists call it the Earth out-of-view phenomenon. Every Apollo astronaut who went to the moon could still look back. They could see the Earth. It was small, but it was there. A bright blue and white marble in the blackness. It was a visual anchor. It meant home. It meant history. It meant every human who had ever lived. On the trajectory to Mars, the Earth shrinks to a pale blue dot. Then, because of orbital mechanics, it will vanish entirely into the blinding glare of the sun. You will look out the reinforced glass. There will be nothing but the infinite, indifferent black. Your evolutionary tether to reality will snap. You will be completely untethered from the concept of humanity. This total isolation is cemented by the speed of light. You are crossing millions of miles of empty space. Communication with mission control breaks down. Radio waves can only travel so fast. By the time you are halfway to your destination, it will take up to 20 minutes for a single message to reach Earth. It will take another 20 minutes for the reply to come back. That is a 40-minute delay for every single conversation. Imagine the terror of an emergency. An alarm starts screaming. White smoke pours from the oxygen scrubbers. You hit the communications button. You scream that you have a fire. Houston will not even hear your voice for 20 minutes. They will not answer for another 20. You will burn to ash. You will choke on toxic smoke. You will float lifelessly in the dark for half an hour before anyone on your home planet even knows you were in danger. You cannot have a conversation. You cannot hear a reassuring voice in real time. You are totally alone. It is in that absolute silence that the true horror of the cosmos sets in. You look out into the void. You realize it is not a canvas of beautiful twinkling stars. It is a graveyard. The James Webb Space Telescope floats 1,000,000 miles from Earth. It captures light from galaxies that died billions of years ago. It shows us a universe of unimaginable violence and scale. It is completely devoid of meaning. You are traveling at tens of thousands of miles an hour. You are moving faster than any bullet ever fired. Yet when you look outside, nothing seems to move. The distances are so impossibly vast that you appear perfectly still. You are frozen in a black ocean. The Voyager probes have been flying for nearly 50 years. They have barely scratched the outer skin of our solar system. The sheer scale of what surrounds you begins to crush your ego. Think about the LIGO observatories here on Earth. In 2015, they detected gravitational waves for the first time. They heard the collision of two black holes. That collision happened 1.3 billion light-years away. The energy released was entirely incomprehensible. It literally warped the fabric of space-time. The ripples traveled through the void for 1 billion years before gently shaking a mirror on Earth by a fraction of a proton. You are flying into that same void. a place where violent events shatter stars and distort time itself. And you are doing it in a tin can powered by glorified firecrackers. Space does not care about your mission patches. It does not care about the flags on your spacesuit. You realize that space is not just an empty room you are driving through. It is a physical manifestation of entropy. It is the ultimate force of decay. The vacuum outside your thin metal walls is actively trying to erase you. It wants to rip the air from your lungs. It wants to boil the fluids in your veins. It wants to freeze your flesh. It wants to irradiate your bones. It wants to return you to dust. You are a fragile, biological anomaly. You are just a sack of warm water and electricity. You are trespassing in a domain where warmth and life are strictly forbidden. The psychological weight of this realization will break you. It combines with the physical crushing of your brain. It amplifies the unending panic caused by cosmic radiation. It merges with the sensory torture of your environment. It will unravel whatever is left of your sanity. Your enemy is not a malfunctioning thruster. It is not a catastrophic asteroid strike. The antagonist waiting in the dark is distance. The sheer, unfathomable, brutal distance. It does not hate you. It is entirely indifferent to your existence. It will swallow your mind simply because you are too small to survive its scale. The ship will coast silently through the freezing black. It will be perfectly intact on the outside. But inside, strapped to a bunk in the dark, there will be a trembling, blind, severely degraded creature. A creature that has completely forgotten what it means to be human. You think about that man in the South Dakota chamber. He shattered into pieces after 2 days in a dark room on Earth. You are signing up for 7 months in the infinite abyss. When you finally open the hatch and step out onto the red dust, the mind that arrived will not be the mind that left.